James Cash Penney, founder of the J.C. Penney franchise in 1898, once famously said, "Growth is never by mere chance. It is the result of forces working together." And his is a classic American story of entrepreneurship and growth and expansion. He started as a partial partner in a new store in Wyoming and quickly leveraged his experience and business acumen to open more and more stores, eventually building a nationwide chain. Doubtless, that's the kind of growth and scaling of our businesses and our partnership departments that we'd all aspire to. Tony Robbins said that in business, the definition of scale is to increase revenue at a faster rate than costs. Businesses achieve this in a number of ways, from adopting new technologies to finding gaps in their operations that can be streamlined. How do we find the gaps in partnership operations so we can scale and drive more revenue? That's what we're covering in today's episode of Partnership Unpacked. This is Partnership Unpacked, your go-to guide to growing your business through partnerships quickly. I'm your host, Mike Allton, and each episode unpacks the winning strategies and latest trends from influencer marketing to brand partnerships, and ideas that you can apply to your own business to grow exponentially. And now, the rest of today's episode. Welcome back to Partnership Unpacked, where I selfishly use this time to pick the brains of experts at strategic partnerships, channel programs, affiliates, influencer marketing, relationship building. Oh, and you get to learn too. Subscribe to learn how you can amplify your growth strategy with a solid takeaway every episode from partnership experts in the industry. Now, back in episode 10, if you recall, we talked to Asher Matthew and Kelly Sarabin about the state of partnership operations, and it was particularly interesting how much more successful and profitable businesses were who had grown their partner teams and implemented a more advanced tech stack. But the problem is, you can't simply hire more people and invest in more expensive tools to grow a program. If you want to scale like JCPenney, you need to build on excellence, and that means having terrific systems and standard operating procedures. That's exactly what our guest today, Umair Mansha, is going to talk to us about. Umair brings his experience as an agency consultant and head of marketing and growth at two different brands. He's overseen and executed on all the inbound channels, from SEO to email marketing, as well as content strategy to editorial PR. Umair understands the what and how of getting things done, and that's exactly the kind of expert and attitude we need to help us scale this program. Hey, Umair, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Let's start by having you share more about your agency and Lazy Metrics and the kinds of partnerships and collaborations you typically leverage.
Yeah. We are in the business of SEO for the last decade or so. We started an agency model in 2018, around that period, and we have been consistently growing over 300 to 400% a year. But most of the growth that came in as part of Lazy Metrics came in the last 3 years or so, when we started leveraging partnership and collaboration with other agency owners as their white label fulfillment partners. We are pretty much a 360 solution provider that helps other agency owners fulfill their operations. We have detailed and one of the best operations in the world. We have invested heavily, and I'm excited for what's coming for Lysimetrics as a marketing firm. And yeah, we have been pretty much in the scale mode for the last 3 years or so.
Very cool. I know we have a huge agency audience at Agorapulse that's definitely going to be interested in hearing more from you about how you're doing that, how you're doing those partnerships, how you're expanding revenue as a result of partnerships. So could you give us a couple of specific examples of some partnerships that you've executed and the results that you saw?
Yeah. So we have like we most of as we started our agency in 2018, we were not focusing on, we were seeing other agencies as our competitors, as normally would any agency starts with. But we've done some projects and we got some case studies where some agency like that specific agency, it's in Inc. 5000. They have like 150 employees. The founder reached out to me looking for getting the similar level results for their client in this legal niche, and he reached out to me and he wanted to know more how we can partner and collaborate together. I was seeing them as a competitor, which was more of a like limiting belief at that point, and I didn't think much about it. But then it started to make sense. I started to realize that this is a huge opportunity that I shouldn't miss, and we found a way where we were gonna do all the operations for this specific client in that agency role for this client, and we started this as a beta to see if there is anything worthwhile doing it, and it was a huge success. The client got a solid case study. The client at the end saw uh, about they were started as a like 400 500 users per day to like 20,000 users per day. That was the growth that the end clients saw. So the partnership kind of worked, and we made our margins, we made our money. We had a solid relationship, and we are still working with them even after like for almost 3.5 years now. So I'm not sure how much specific we can get into, because I cannot disclose the name of the client or the relationship that we have with this agency, because they are huge and they wouldn't want us to be very public about the partnership that since we are handling their operations for them. And but we have seen the results that came in, and it was a eureka moment for my business. To be honest with you, I started seeing so much potential in this white labeling and partnership model that I didn't saw. Actually, I was missing out on revenue, and I was just looking at the number before this podcast, because we need to file our taxes in the U.S., and we the 80% of the revenue in our agency is coming from partnership and collaborations. It's from other agencies working with us, giving us their operations technically, like handling all the fulfillment for them. And that's like 80% of business now. And I wish I could have started focusing on that earlier in my career. It could have been like the pain and the
Mm.
frustration, the whole trajectory of our success could have been a lot shorter if I could just see other other partners as other agency owners as our partners or collaborators, people that we could find common grounds to work with, instead of just a competitor looking for the same pie that we are going after. Does it make
I
sense?
love that you framed that entire thing initially as a limiting belief, right? You viewed other agencies as competitors, and once you got around that view, that perspective, everything changed. And that's definitely a key takeaway that I hope everybody listening kind of just brings to heart, because a lot of the things that you think about your business, about your potential, about partnerships in general, those might be limiting beliefs. They might be holding you back from tremendous potential. So thank you for sharing that. Let's get into SOPs, because that's clearly what you're doing, how you're helping these other agencies along. You're developing these SOPs, right, and these systems and these excellence. How and why should brands develop SOPs for partnerships?
uh, for let's say if to any business model to work, I think SOPs are like the key foundation. It's the basic formula that will help you scale. If you don't have detailed SOPs, and SOPs sounds like a very complicated or very like it will take a lot of time, but it actually don't. If you start make it simplify, SOPs are like the huge fundamental growth systems that you need to scale. SOPs, creation of SOPs start always with a simple Google Doc. You start with a step-by-step guide, step one, and you potentially have to just look at this work that you're doing manually at this moment, but you can potentially delegate or automate with the help of tools or people, and you can technically just write down all the steps that you're doing manually at this moment, but you can that the other people or the software that are better than you at that particular area of your business could do better than you. And as a business owner, I personally think SOPs were the fundamental thing that help us, like it's the only uh, system that help us having detailed SOPs of our operations, and for partners as well. We have very detailed as step by step guides, like this is what we need at this moment to be done, and our team could just follow that guides in detail and get most out of it. For partnerships, it's like, if you are like doing a lot of outreach, you could potentially create a system where you could write down all the same messaging that you're doing. Just for the sake of example, if you're doing a cold outreach, you need to have a proper SOP for that specific cold outreach formula. Like, this I've been working, and someone from my team could potentially help me get this done better than me spending all this time into that specific role. So SOPs are hugely like underrated, and it's boring when you're gonna start doing it, but it's gonna help you scale. This is very important. This is very boring, at the same time very crucial part of your business if you want to scale to another level, like with your agency or whatever the business that you're running. Does that answer
That
your
makes
question?
Yeah, that makes complete sense, and it's so funny that you mentioned outreach. Maybe not funny, but interesting because I
Mhm.
just saw this morning a TikTok where somebody was using a Chat GPT extension for spreadsheets that's available now, and you could use the Chat GPT extension to say, "Hey, give me 10 CEOs from LinkedIn in this industry," right? Somebody you'd want to outreach to, and then it'll fill that in. 10 rows. Here's the people on LinkedIn. And then you can say, tell me about their business, and it would fill in a paragraph about their business, and then you can go on to say, tell me, what would be a good question to ask them or something like that, an introductory
Mhm.
question, and it fills it in for the first one, and then you just drag and fill in the rest of the sheet. It's a really interesting way to marry AI
Yeah.
with outreach and having an SOP in place that's going to automate and scale as much of that as possible. Fascinating stuff happening these days with AI.
I agree. I agree. I've seen so much crazy stuff that's been happening with ChatGPT, and you could just. So one of my partner, agency partner, he literally automated all the mailing system because he was getting a lot of junk, and he built a prompt where he could potentially filter out all the important ones from the junk ones. Because it's like everyone gets so many mails in the US. I'm not familiar because I'm in Pakistan. We don't get that many mails, but he wrote a whole chat GPT. His name is Dan Barrett. He did an amazing job. He created a long video with that as well, and it was like very unique and creative way to just automate all the work that you have been doing manually, and it has been a hassle in the past. And the use cases with chat GPT are like crazy. Its potential is huge, and anyone listening to this podcast, please invest incredible time looking into ChatGPT, how you could potentially use that for future, because it's going to totally change the way we do work, and it's already starting happening in the world, right? So we need to focus on this. We cannot ignore this anymore. Like, AI is coming, and it's going to be huge, huge thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tremendous period of time right now where every single day we're seeing in the news announcements that new major brands have integrated AI or ChatGPT specifically, Salesforce, Slack, and so on. At Agorapulse, we're developing AI integration. It's really interesting. And yeah, where we're going to be 12 months from now, our ability to have an SOP where there are certain things that we're automating and we're able to just assign parts of those tasks to AI is incredible. So, for a brand who's just getting started, they've never really done SOPs before. What's a good place to start? Is it just by identifying, whatever it is that they're already doing and documenting it, or is there a more fundamental place to start?
I think I started my SOPs journey with operations because I wanted to become a fulfillment partner agency. We wanted to do white label all our services. I wanted to sell productized services that would take minimal amount of input, manual input from me or my team, and those products can sell at scale. That was my goal. I started with that and now have detailed SOPs in almost all like departments of our business, like our marketing, our operations, our project management. We use those. We started with one particular very important part of the business, and then we kindly slowly expanded that scope into other areas of our business as well. But I would that was my journey, that was my experience. Anyone that's starting with the SOPs, I think they can potentially start with the operations, so they can. Most of the agency owners, they start being a skill master or freelancer themselves. That's how I started. I was a SEO freelancer, one of the very well known. I started tons of projects. They got huge traction, and I wanted to build a business. And but I hate doing customized work at scale. Like, it's not scalable. You cannot, as a agency owner, as a business owner, it's not the best use of your time. You need people or the processes that could potentially replace you. And that's where I started. I focused on the areas of business that could potentially remove me from the equation, and then I expanded the scope into all areas of business. I think that has been working with for me very well, and that's what I would recommend for you to get started, for as any business owner to get started as well. Start with the key areas or key deliverables that you're doing for your clients. Start with automating or prioritizing those with the help of SOPs and detailed documentation, and then you can potentially once you have removed yourself from the operations. And that's like uh, new business owners, they always struggle with this. Like they want to do everything themselves. They want to take care of all the key areas of their business, and they they want to control and micromanage everything. And having SOPs will help you deliver great and exceptional quality work while you being not in the operations at all. And that should be your goal as well. If you want to scale, if you want to build a real business, all the businesses that you see around that are like doing multi-million a year in revenues, they are not based on one person companies. They have teams that take care of the operations for them. And I would say operations are the key area where you should be starting as well. That would be my 2 cents for this.
That's such a key point because the agency owners listening to me right now, I'll ask you, when was the last time you took a vacation day? And some of you were just like dying inside a little bit right now because it's been years since you had a vacation, because you can't take yourself out of the business, because you don't have standard operating procedures that
Yeah.
allow team members and subordinates and that sort of thing to come in and help. So if we're sold, Umair, on the idea of building SOPs and we're just starting out now, how do we take it to the next level? What tips do you have to make a really great SOP?
I would say that having a clear vision or clarity about the end results or and output, what you want to achieve out of that SOP, would be a great start. Always begin with an end in mind. You have read it multiple times. It sounds like a cliche advice, but it works, right? So I would say always think of the end result that you want to achieve from your that particular SOP that you want to create, right? And go from there. Then having a result in mind will help you build all the the nuance and the micro details that you need to build a perfect SOP. It has to start with the final product or final end result that you want to achieve, and then go from there. You'll see that if you want to create SOP just for the sake of SOPs, you're gonna get stuck. You're gonna you're gonna it's not gonna be a very ideal starting point. But if you know that this is what I want to achieve, and this is the result that would be ideal for me to create, and then you can start from that, would be helpful to create a very solid SOP that you can rely on.
Love that advice. It's actually something that I did without even thinking about it when I was creating blog content over the past decade. Often, most posts would be how to achieve this in social media, how to build this in a tool like Easel or Canva, whatever the case might be. And I'd give them step by step instructions with the idea of at the end, you will have accomplished something. You will have created a graphic for blog posts or a sheet of tweets to import into a Agorapulse, whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
So,
We,
what tools would you recommend that can actually help us accomplish these kinds of SOPs?
yeah, I use multiple tools. We have I love ClickUp. I love I love using Trainwell for my team to have details. I think the one of the best tool that I could recommend is Trainwell. It's I'm not sure. I'll send you a link later to this as well. It's a tool that help you create videos that you can attach with the detailed documentation, and what it does the scripting. It does all the scripting for you, and you can have all the main SOPs at one place. It provides a very beautiful dashboard. ClickUp is also solid tool. At the end of the day, there are there are so many tools that you could use, but I would say start with one. Make sure that you understand the tool, each tool that help you with the documentation, like Trainwell or ClickUp or Asana or any other tool that are out there. Notion is a very solid tool as well. These are all great tools, but I would suggest that you start with one instead of signing up for all these multiple tools and trying to make it work within uh, while you're starting creating your recipes. I would say start with one, master that one tool, and it will help you. And if you outgrow that particular tool, you can always change that. You can always grow from one to another. But I would say start with the one. Start with a simple project management tool like Notion or Asana or ClickUp. These are all three are very much recommended. I love using them. Since we work with other agencies, they all have their own project management tool that they use, and we have to use sometimes use their particular tool, and that's why we have been using most of them that are in the market that are somewhat famous. And start with one, go from there, and see if that's helpful for you or not.
Those are cool recommendations, and that's great advice to start with one. At Agorapulse, we're a little famous for having way too many tools. Our new employees are always overwhelmed at the literally dozens of tools that they have to create accounts on and get onboarded at. We use Asana, which I know is not cheap, but I really enjoy Asana. How expensive are these tools that you're talking about, and how are you able to demonstrate an ROI either internally or with clients with using something like this?
Each tool have like their own pricing. It would start with a couple of hundred and get into like if you're a power user getting so much value out of them. um, it can scale as you add more users into it. But we our use case is pretty light. We use them on project wise basis. So they have their free versions. You can start with that, and slowly grow into that. If you want to go with the one pricing, unlimited projects, I do recommend Basecamp. It's a very solid tool, but it's more in the use case of project management instead of creating SOPs. But again, you can the tool at the end of the day matters less than that the utility that you are gonna get out of it. You can even use Google Docs. That's free to start with if the money is the issue at starting point. But again, there are so many multiple options. You can go for at AppSumo, sign up for we have a subscription, lifetime subscription, so many software that at our agency. We not use all of them, but there are like some really great deals that we got. Like Plutio is a very solid tool that we use. We have a lifetime deal. It costed us like $200 for the white label options, and we they have like unlimited projects and limited everything in there. So it doesn't matter if your budget is zero. You can start with like the freemium plan on Asana or Notion or ClickUp, and then go from there as well. There are like budget friendly option, and there are options that could, once you are growing at a scale, it could potentially, you, if you need something, and the ROI is like, if you're investing $0 but getting some value out of it, it's a good way to start and go from there.
Terrific advice. So if you're just starting off, use a freemium tool or use a completely free tool like Google Docs and Google Drive folders to manage and start to create your SOPs. And then as that scales and grows itself as a practice internally, adopt another tool like Asana or something like that, or Basecamp or ClickUp. Folks, we're talking with Umair about scaling partnership operations and using tools to help realize ROI. Let me share with you another tool you can consider, Agorapulse, to help realize ROI from organic social media activity.
It's the Arc de Triomphe. Can you imagine if you're in charge, if you're the CMO of marketing Paris? What are your main channels? Wow, there's the Arc de Triomphe. There's the Eiffel Tower. There's the Louvre. Those are your channels you're going to use to drive tourism dollars in. Okay, now, but you're not the CMO of Paris. In fact, you're the CMO of your company, product, service. So what are your main channels? Well, I'm going to guess they're things like pay-per-click, maybe trade shows, events, maybe content. Those are all pretty predictable, right? Let me ask you this question. Are you treating social media as a main channel? By the way, only 1.8% of you today measure social media and can prove an ROI in that investment. HubSpot and Gartner say social media is the #1 channel to invest in this year. Are you doing it? If not, I can tell you why. You're not doing it because you don't have the tools, you don't have the mentality, and that's okay. We've got you covered. You change the mentality, we'll give you the tool. Agorapulse tracks all the ROI for you. One place to manage all your social media activity, your #1 channel. Change your success. Treat social media as a channel, one CMO to another. My name is Daryl. I'm with Agorapulse. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Umair, we're talking about how teams can get started with SOPs. They're potentially bringing on new tools, and they're creating, SOPs around the use of SOPs, right? And starting to actually ramp up. But how do we make sure people are actually doing it, right? What advice do you have for brands and teams to help them make sure that these SOPs are adopted and actually utilized?
That's a solid question. That's a very solid, good question. I would always say, like, the trickle down effect. It's always starts from you. If you really care about the mission of your company, if you really care about the vision of your company, you'll make sure that you are gonna repeat that mission or vision so many times that it's virtually like memorized to your teammates and everyone that you interact with, that this is what this person cares about. And the SOPs that you want to implement, it's not going to be easy. Your teammates are new to this. You are new to this, and you do need to understand the power of repetition. You'll see the power of repetition is so much important that you pick up any religious scripture. It may be Bible or Quran or any religious texture, and you see some repetitive verses that are being constantly fed, like taught to you. And it's like it's how human brain works. If you repeat the advice, if you repeat the words, it's gonna, people are going to follow the team. If you care about it and you repeat that message again and again, I'm sure it's not very I it's not I'm not giving very like run of the mill or very like advice that could be used by everyone, but this is what has been working for us. I repeated that this is our source of truth. This is where we will be beginning this particular part of the, let's say, just for the example, if you created some specific SOP for some deliverable that you're doing. In our case, we are doing like a lot of website quality audits or technical audits. Just for the sake of example, to give you a better context, what I'm talking about, you have to instill that source of truths, that SOP that you created, to your teammates, and that this is you're gonna start. And if they don't, you can just quickly check the end result, and you can quickly judge that this has not been followed properly. And you can always use different strategies. But if you repeat that, like if you started using SOP fairly recently, you need to make sure that you are very patient with this. It's not gonna implement right away into your company, because you have been doing used to doing a lot of different things in the past. You have been used to doing a lot of customized work, starting from scratch, not knowing where to start, giving always random starting points to start with. It's not going to get implemented right away. But if you are patient and you repeat the message, if you repeat let train your teammates to do those steps in that you have outlined in your SOPs, it's going to get implemented eventually. That would be my input from my end. I'm not sure if does that help, Mike? What do you think?
Umair, that's a fantastic answer. I love that you started off with leading by example. And I come at this from the perspective where I've been involved with a lot of organizations, either as an employee or as a consultant and that sort of thing. And I often see situations where the company has an internal SOP, but the CEO or the CMO feels like they don't have to do the SOP. They don't have to fill out a
Yeah.
form and request something. They can just go straight to the person that they want an answer from and
Mhm.
bypass the internal SOP that has already been set in place. So they're setting this example where maybe
Yeah.
there's instances where we don't have to follow the SOP, right? And they're not leading by example. And then your second point was fantastic about the need for repetition. And you're 100% right. We see this in religious texts, we see it in really good teachers who know how to use cadence and repetition in what they're saying, in whether it's written or spoken and that sort of thing. And it's funny because it actually ties into why I'm asking the next question that I'm going to ask. Because here on this show, I have a core theme, a core message that I want to get through to my audience. So I end up asking variations of the same question every single time. So here it is for you. How have SOPs and systems helped you foster and nurture relationships with your partners?
Yeah, it's been like for my business, for my agency at Yes Packages, uh, it has been like truly phenomenal. I didn't expect like I was just a freelancer a couple of years ago, like 6 7 years ago. I was doing everything myself, and I never realized the power of building a great SOP will help me transition from just a freelancer that's working very very hard to just earn money to someone who is now a business owner. I was in the States last month. I traveled from New York all the way to San Francisco, covered tons of states and cities in between as well when we first spoke with Mike. And I wouldn't have been able to achieve like travel. I was in Turkey last year. I was in Dubai. Then I went to Riyadh. I was there for 2 weeks. I performed Umrah, which is very important pilgrimage in for Muslims. It's very important. It takes like it's a very manual kind of religious thing, and I wouldn't have been able to do all of the stuff that I was able to do if I wasn't. I didn't focus on creating SOPs and systems in for my business in place. I was away from my business while my revenues keeps on making like my revenue didn't stop, my operations didn't stop. Everything was running smoothly without me being involved. Our account managers were able to take care of everything, our product manager, because we have solid systems in place to make sure the work that we are doing is truly truly exceptional, at the same time predictable and repeatable. Our client can rely on, once they order something from us, they can pretty much can rest happily that it will be taken very well, because they have been it has been powered and backed by creating SOPs and systems in place. So anyone that is either a freelancer or that is a new agency owner uh, listening to this podcast, I would encourage, I would implore you to just start with the with documentation of what you are doing yourself as a CEO, or as a C level executive in your company. You should not be doing the level of work that requires like anyone that So for me, I use a very simple calculator in my mind. So what's it's gonna cost me in terms of time if I put some time into doing that specific task, how much it's gonna cost my clients if they work with me. My rate is going around 300 to 400 an hour, and that task that most agency focus could be done by 20, 15, 10, $30 per hour. So I segment that. I have this mindset that I'm not gonna spend time on tasks that's are way down the actual dollar value. That's like losing money. And as a business owner, you need to put value to your time. And the only way that you can do that by having solid SOPs and systems in place, because otherwise you are gonna be just a commodity, just like any other freelancer that is out there providing services. If you want to build a true business, you need to have SOPs. That's how every business runs in the world that has done some exceptional work, that has achieved some exceptional growth. Yeah, start by focusing on putting value to your time, because time, uh, as you grow older, you're gonna realize that time is the only asset that's most important in your life. Once you achieve certain level of financial freedom, time is the most important one that you and to if you want to get freedom, and if your goal was to create a business that could potentially help you build a lifestyle that is based, that is based in freedom, you need to have SOPs and you need to have systems in place. That
Love it. Fantastic advice. Umair, you've been amazing. This has been such an important and informative interview. Can you tell folks where to learn more about you, where to follow you, connect with you, and so on?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at ENGR Umair Mansha. I'm on LinkedIn as Umair Mansha. You can add me on Facebook. I'm pretty much everywhere. Just type my name on Google. There will be a bunch of stuff coming up for my name. You can just you can follow me on LinkedIn, and send me a message if you think we could potentially partner up. That was the whole point of our podcast as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Folks, that's all we've got for today. Please be sure to follow us on Apple and leave us a review. We'd love to know what you think. Until next time, keep partnering. Thank you for listening to another episode of Partnership Unpacked, hosted by Mike Allton and powered by AgoraPulse, the #1 rated social media management solution, which you can learn more about at agorapulse.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on your favorite podcast player. Be sure to leave us a review. Your feedback is important to us. And if you want to be part of our audience during live broadcasts, take a look at our calendar at agorapulse.com/calendar. Until next time.